Good evening. On tonight's episode, Demons of the Punjab, a story about ideology ripping a family apart.
I was away from him for too long, fighting in the war. By the time I got back, Manish wasn't my baby brother anymore.
People grow up. We all have to find our own way.
Some of us need more guidance than others.
This opening sequence with Yaz's family celebrating their grandma's birthday felt like deliberate, clunky exposition. It didn't feel natural. That's not really how normal people talk. Also, the setup with the watch was obvious. Foreshadowing anybody? How's it gonna break?
Thank you. Was it Grandad's?
And get it fixed if you like.
It must never be fixed.
Why not?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
So they all decide to go back in time and visit Yaz's grandma. The obvious criticism of this episode is the Doctor should have known better to facilitate something that could have very easily allowed the grandpa paradox to happen. The grandpa paradox being a time travel paradox that asks the question, what happens if you go back in time and kill your grandpa before he conceives your parents? Do you die? Do you disappear? Does it start an alternate timeline? I don't know. But directly visiting Yaz's grandma seemed dangerous. You're poking the bear, right? If Capaldi had done this, it would have been completely against his character. But I guess Jodie is more naive and less authoritative. So it's alright? Kind of, in a way. Not really.
Family history and time travel? Very tricky. Just for an hour. See you from a distance. What's the point in having a mate with a time machine if you can't nip back and see your gran when she were younger?
Have you got a time or place?
The actor playing Prem delivers his lines in an odd manner a few times. I can't help but wonder if the director of this episode was distracted with framing shots or executing effects and wasn't paying enough attention to the supporting cast and vetting out bad line delivery.
We're on our way to say hello. Bit of a surprise.
But we agreed. Okay, get in. Okay, get in.
Old mate gets all theatrical with this line delivery. He all of a sudden thinks he's in a Shakespearean melodrama.
I couldn't save him. Why are they here? How did we bring demons on ourselves? Why are they here? How did we bring demons on ourselves?
Okay, get in.
There are a lot of moments in this episode that I think would have been mundane without the music elevating them. The music in this episode was invoking and eerie. The composer was creative in his choices and obviously very talented in the execution of them. There's a moment in the story where the Doctor communicates to Yaz that they need to leave now, and Yaz goes against this instruction. In the past, the Doctor has reigned supreme and just controlled his companions. They really haven't been able to go over the top of them. But this is more of an ensemble cast. The companions, they have more significance and more screen time, more of a say, more of an opinion. This is fine. I like how the formula's been mixed up a little bit. You need to change and reinvent to show after 55 years. But I can't help but think maybe this is robbing Jodie's Doctor of screen time and just moments of significance.
We can't go. I came here for answers. All I've got is more questions.
I knew this would happen.
Can anyone help me with this?
I'll help. I'm Yaz.
Great. Thanks, Yaz. Big moment. You won't forget this in a hurry. Great.
Chris Chibnall said in an interview that each episode of this season will focus on a different character. This episode obviously focusing on Yaz. Now this formula was used to great effect with Star Trek The Next Generation. We'd have Picard episodes, we'd have Riker episodes, we'd have Worf episodes. But Doctor Who isn't traditionally an ensemble cast. The Doctor is the lead. I mean, the show's called Doctor Who. It's like if Indiana Jones all of a sudden started to focus on Short Round. I think I need more Doctor-centric episodes. I need to see the Doctor doing more, commanding more, being at the front more, being the lead of this show.
Look at us. The things we're doing with the Doc. We're in 1947.
We're Manan.
Yeah.
No one will ever believe us.
All of a sudden, in what I thought was going to be a political drama about the partition of India, aliens rock up and a chase ensues. The music and sound effects in this sequence are amazing and it's exciting.
Find the signal, it didn't go far.
This story has good pacing. It feels like it's always moving forward, and there's always a sense of tension hanging in the atmosphere.
You have desecrated the hive. The hive is sacred.
Do you have to push your words into our heads like that? Because it really hurts. And no, we haven't actually. It's you who are desecrating this planet.
Now, I've expressed several times before that I enjoy sci-fi stories far more than historical dramas, and while I really loved the design of these alien antagonists, their involvement in the story amounts to nothing. It's a misunderstanding, it's a subversion, and I can't help but wonder if they were completely cut out of the story and if the narrative had focused more on the characters and the drama and the politics, if the whole thing would have felt more focused.
You mean that the Gyrones have come to kill Prem?
That's not why they're here. They're not assassins. They honor those who die alone.
Aliens with compassion.
So the Doctor is being chased by these dangerous aliens and she runs back to Yaz's family farm, taking the aliens back there. What if one of them had killed Yaz's grandma? What if the presence of these aliens in full view of Yaz's family had have affected the future in some way? I feel like the Doctor should have been concerned with all these things, and I feel like it was irresponsible to drag them back to the family farm. Anything could have happened.
Bitches! Get to the barn! What? Get to the barn! Right now!
You disrupt our work.
Good.
We've seen Jodie's Doctor be crafty before when she created the sonic screwdriver. This is obviously one of her character traits. But the device that she creates in this story makes her seem more like MacGyver than the Doctor. Also, we don't see her disassemble it or destroy it, so I don't know whether she left it there. If she did, that's obviously very silly. They could have reverse engineered it and changed the future drastically. Anyway, play a sequence, play a scene, play a clip from MacGyver's opening titles, Phil.
So what is it then?
Science.
I'm always interested in how religious dogma and ideologies can corrupt a human being's way of thinking. And that was an element of this episode, but I feel like they could have delved into that concept a bit deeper.
You'll have to forgive him. He spends too much time reading pamphlets, listening to angry men on the radio.
Do you love me, Prem?
Of course I love you. Even if sometimes I don't recognize the brother I left behind.
I received a comment on one of my recent videos with Electric Mastro, I believe that's your name, sorry if I mispronounced it, talking about the lack of authority in the new Doctor. He talked about the darker, sinister side to this character and how we're yet to see those elements in the 13th incarnation so far. I completely agree with this. I need to see Jodie in more aggressive, assertive situations where she shines and takes the lead. And with only 4 episodes to go, the time to show this is now. Also, thanks for the comment.
I know who you are. I know what you do. And it's not happening here. Leave these people alone. They're under my protection now.
You cannot prevent this.
You just watch me.
I think if they were going to tell the story of these aliens, they should have been sinister and dangerous. And that would have been a good way to show Jodie saving the day and taking the lead and being more intense and assertive and angry. But I feel like you're either doing the family drama or the evil aliens. You didn't really have time to do both. And if one's going to go, it's going to have to be the aliens.
I didn't work this land for you, Umbri. I worked it for my brothers. One who didn't come back, and the other I wish hadn't.
There are lots of moments of aggressive tableau drama attacks in the score of this story. They're really effective, and they reminded me of the scene from There Will Be Blood where the oil rig burns down. Great sequence and great movie. If you haven't watched it, go watch it right now. I actually like how the Doctor didn't change her costume into something which would have fit into the historical period in this story. It's like unapologetically Doctor Who. It's like, here, it's me, I'm the Doctor. I'm not gonna dress up like I'm from India in the 40s. Tom would just rock up to random historical events all the time in an outrageous 18-foot coloured scarf. They're the Doctor!
Take the sorcerer too! A gold piece to the first and split him!
I thought the emotional climax of this episode was effective. The whole time the family was trying to pull together and stay strong and survive. But in the end, the negative power of politics and religion, it tore the family apart, and it allowed the younger brother to allow his brother to be killed for his beliefs, his own brother. That's powerful, and yeah, I felt it. They did a good job of conveying that.
I know what you did to the holy man.
There's nothing holy about a man who would approve your union. Better he die than defile himself.
My baby brother.
I think Jodie dropped the ball in this scene. I think, once again, this would have been a good moment for her to be angry and assertive. This man just sold out his entire family, and she's just inquisitive and curious with a gun being waved in her face. Maybe the director should have pushed her too. I don't know whether I don't think it's the writing. Because I think Capaldi would have played this scene completely different. I think Tom would have played this scene completely different. Hartnell would have played this scene completely differently. Even Tennant would have played this scene completely differently. There's a gun waving in your face. This man's just sold out his family. It's a big deal. Show a little aggression. Show a little something. Don't just be curious and inquisitive. I like Jodie. She's interesting. She's quirky. She's cute. But if she's going to be the Doctor, then she needs to be more. She needs to be multi-layered. She needs to be angry. She needs to be assertive. She needs to be powerful. She needs to be funny. She needs to be charismatic. We're halfway there, but we need the other half.
Did it get out of hand? Did you scare yourself? Because you were too young for the war. You've never fought or killed anyone.
I'm not scared of anything, because this is my time to fight. Fight for what I believe.
Killing a man because he might marry a Muslim and a Hindu, and then pretend you knew nothing.
Take your friends and leave. If you want to get out to life.
What have you done? Who's coming?
This scene is pointless. We know Yaz's grandma ends up in Sheffield. We've already seen it. Showing this does nothing to further the narrative. Why is it here?
One night I said, I'll put my finger on this map, and wherever it lands, I'm going to go.
And you landed on Sheffield?
Such an exotic word. It's in England. Do you know it?
In the end, Yaz goes home to her 90-year-old grandma, and her grandma offers to tell her the story of the broken watch and her first husband. And Yaz says, nah, tell me later. What? Her grandma's like 90. She might not be around next week to tell you this story. And also I want to know if she remembers these aliens teleporting all around, all the crazy violence, the fact that a cosmic time traveler married her, the fact that she saw her granddaughter 70 years before she was born, all these other odd people who didn't fit into the time and stuck out like a sore thumb. What would a 90-year-old woman say about all this crazy sci-fi stuff she saw 70 years later? How would she remember it? How would her memory make up for this? How would she have come to terms with it? That was all very interesting, and they just didn't show it. It was just like, don't worry, Grandma, I don't want to hear the story. I've already seen it. Yeah, but what does your grandma think of it? How does your grandma explain the aliens and the teleporting and the sci-fi?
You want to know about the watch? Really? No.
What? In conclusion, the music was amazing in this story. The cinematography was once again good, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I love sci-fi, and my favorite episodes of Doctor Who are the high concept sci-fi ones, but the aliens served no purpose. They should have been cut out of the story, and it should have focused on the idea of ideology ripping a family apart and how political beliefs and religious bias can move somebody to murder their own brother, or allow someone else to murder their own brother, really.
We are your people, Prem. India's your country. You and Kunal fought for this.
This is not what I fought for.
I'm missing an overarching storyline. Now I know Stephen Moffat would always do this, and it was convoluted and confusing and horribly written and filled with plot holes, and I hated it. But I feel like at this point I need something more, and an overarching story would be dragging me in more and making me feel more in the story. There was a mention about the Timeless Child or something. I guess that's going to be an overarching storyline, but I like more at this point. And I think Chibnall would be able to write it better than Moffat. I definitely think Chibnall would be able to do a better job at overarching stories than Moffat. And I need more from Jodie at this point. I need to see her step over the boundary of the nice, quirky, charismatic Doctor and show some intensity. And I hope that's coming up. I hope we see that in the season finales. Otherwise, her Doctor in this season will be good and engaging, but underwhelming. I can't say this episode was bad. I definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely good. Maybe I'm feeling like I need a little bit more at this point. And all I wanted from Doctor Who was good, solid sci-fi stories after the Moffat era. That's all I asked for. I was just like, I've been burnt so many times by horribly written stories. All I want is just something with a decent script. And now I'm getting it. And now I want more. I'm just like a spoiled child crying at a supermarket. Mum, I want Doctor Who to be better. Nah, it's good. The season is a lot better than all of the Moffat era, in my opinion. I like where it's going. I like the story. I like the characters. I need more from Jodie. Thank you for watching, and it'd really help out if you could like, subscribe, and in the comments tell me I got all the facts wrong and how my opinion is null and void. Thank you, and good night.